Hi, everyone. This is the first episode of our brand new podcast, Psych'd, a podcast all about psychology. My name is Hannah Young.
I'm Cari Meeks.
And we are psychology students here at Lyon College. We just study psychology. I was going to say I study like so-and-so psychology. We don't have specialties yet.
Yeah.
Yourself real quick?
I'm Cari. I'm Cari Meeks. I am a junior here, so this is my third year officially. I graduate in 2026, so does Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have a cat named Zeppelin. My hobbies, I like gardening. I like cooking. And so I chose to go into psychology. I'm just going to go ahead and go into this. Sure. I chose to go into psychology just because ever since I came to college, I didn't choose my major until my sophomore year, my second semester of my sophomore year, because I did not know what I wanted to do. I was just like, I just want to help people. I don't know how I'm going to do that. And then sat down and talked to Dr. Daniels a little bit and seeing different classes and stuff like that. And I was like, I think psychology is the perfect path for me. And it gives me a lot of options. So yeah.
Okay. My name is Hannah. I'm also a junior here at Lyon. I don't have any pets, sad, yet. Hopefully I'll get a pet one day. I don't know. We'll see. What else did you say?
Why I chose to get into psychology.
Why you chose psychology? So I chose psychology. One out of the recommendation of a lot of my professors, not just psychology professors, but bio. One of my ethics professor also said that I would probably do pretty good at it, since I also did a podcast episode over that as well. I also just like had an affinity for helping people, and I wanted to find out how I could do that. Obviously, I came in pre-med, and now I'm psychology, so still that kind of track of helping people, but yeah.
Mentally instead of physically.
Mentally instead of physically, but also can help physically.
Yeah, exactly.
Mental health awareness and how would you say that? Like housekeeping, mental housekeeping.
Yeah, mental housekeeping
can help. Is that what we're calling psychology? Mental housekeeping?
Yeah.
Can definitely help with physical health, and I have found that recently.
Yeah, and it also will tell you things about yourself that you're like, why have I been doing this the entire time? And then you have a, lesson on it. You're like, oh,
maybe this.
That's maybe why I've been doing that.
Be wary, though. You will have some lessons where you're like, am I a psychopath? Or but you're not. Maybe. Yeah. I hope not. But you're not.
Hopefully.
I was in Psych of Cults today, and you're not in Psych of Cults. Mm-hmm. You're in COG and
abnormal, and professional.
Professional development. Yeah, we're in COG and professional development together. I was we were watching a document on Heaven's Gate.
I remember you saying that.
Yes. And I sat there and, oh my gosh, I was like, I would totally fall for this cult. I was like, oh my gosh, totally. Because they were talking about Revelation, which is a book in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about, like, their teachings were the exact teachings from the Bible. Like, it wasn't like they created anything new. It was just that. Like, they were preaching that, mm-hmm. just with, like, UFOs and aliens and ascending on a comet. And I was like, wow, like, I grew up in a Christian household. Like, we were taught, like, that book. Like, that I would totally fall for that. Yeah. And be like, wow, there's these people who, like, are preaching this. Like, I would join a church if they, like, had that. And I was like, oh, gosh.
Yeah, even though I've, like, stepped away from a lot of the things I believed in when I was younger, that I was taught to believe in, and I don't really consider myself to be very religious anymore. Mm-hmm. I still think Revelation is terrifying. Mm-hmm. And anytime someone's like, the mark of the beast and stuff, I'm like hyperventilating. Yeah. Because the end of the world is just like so terrifying. Mm-hmm. And also like a lot of those cults are meant to make you scared.
Yeah, it's the terror management theory. We just learned about that. So I hope Dr. Daniels is watching this and is like, I taught her something. Yes.
Yeah, the entire point is like, we need to make them scared till they follow us.
Yes.
Whenever I took her social psych class, mm-hmm. we learned a lot about cults. And there was the one that she was like, the world's going to end at this time, at this date.
Oh,
yeah. And you got to come with me on my UFO. Mm-hmm. And we're leaving at 12. And it was 12 and they were still there.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I got the times wrong. It's because you guys didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah, no.
And no, she would have got me, though.
No, she totally would have. Sorry. Upper respiratory infection. It's September. No, that's like getting back to psychology, but like, wow, I should have a massive, like, you probably see like when my brain just farted. Yeah. But no, like there's a lot of times.
Kind of stinks in here now.
Yeah. There's a lot of moments in psychology where like I've said like, maybe this can explain a pattern of behavior. Maybe this can explain something about myself, my friends, my family, my classmates, random strangers on the street. And so what we are kind of wanting to do with this podcast is show that psychology is really everywhere. Human behavior is everywhere. Animal behavior, just behavior and cognition and everything about psychology is everywhere. And so this is just a podcast kind of relating that into your everyday life, but also getting to know a little bit more about psychology vicariously through some undergrad students who are learning as well. So maybe a little bit of hodgepodge learning, but still some form of learning.
Yeah. And the first thing that anyone ever says to me whenever I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a psych major. Like, oh, you're not diagnosing me right now, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not.
My mom has shout out to my mom. She's a special education diagnostician. And she had this cup. And I think it said, like, be quiet, I'm diagnosing you or something. And I remember her having that cup. And no, that made me think of that. Because it was, like, really, it's like a tumbler, like a Yeti tumbler. It's all sparkly and pretty. And it says, like, be quiet, I'm diagnosing you. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I liked it. I don't know where it is. I hope we still have it.
Yeah, anytime I'm, like, talking to someone and, like, their behavior's just a little bit odd, I'm like, I learned about this. Yeah. I definitely learned about this.
Oh, yeah. Today, though, we're going to kind of do, like, a little, not activity every episode, but maybe, like, some form of, like, main conversation every episode. Today, it's kind of, like, a generalized episode. We are going to do a, like, true or false game about psychology. It's, like, literally anything psychology. I, like, pulled from different websites and, like, researched, like,
like,
shout forums. Out Quizlet. Yeah, shout out Quizlet. I did definitely take a lot of Quizlets. Not out of context, but just like a lot of their Quizlets out. So, basically it's just going to be a sentence and it's like true or false. It might have an explanation for it next to it. I didn't like put explanations to everything. It might not. And no shame if we get it wrong, we are still learning. So we can still take that, we're undergrad students, we're learning. It's fine. Okay. Do you want to read or do you want me to read?
I'll read it.
Okay, you can read?
Okay. So, a person's attitude towards treatment has little effect on the result of the treatment.
So, like, a person, like, how they feel towards their treatment has little effect. That is false?
It's false.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just thinking, I was like, maybe having a better attitude about something will make you, like, do better.
The placebo effect. That's the
explanation?
Answer. Yeah, that's the explanation it says.
Okay, you can do, like, a few, and then we'll trade off. How about that?
Okay. Palm reading and pseudopsychology.
It's like palm reading is a pseudopsychology?
It just says palm reading INA, but it might have been ISA.
Yeah. I also did, like, make copies of these and just, like, quickly type stuff up. So my bad.
No, you're good.
Is a pseudopsychology? It is, isn't it? Like, it's... Yeah, you can't really tell how someone, like, isn't there, oh my gosh, Hunchback of Notre Dame, 90s film, Disney 90s film, Esmeralda, the woman in the film, she can, like, palm read and says, like, he's not a monster based on the lines on his hands. Yeah. Is that, like, what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think you can tell someone's personality based on the lines on their hands.
It says true.
What? It does?
Yeah, it does. I didn't think you could either. Whenever they have Scots Fest here, I got my palm read.
Oh, palm reading is a pseudoscience, so it is a false psychology.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
I was like, really? I need to write a paper about this.
Yeah, whenever I got my palm read at Scots Week, I felt bad because the person was just like, I don't know what this means, so just give me 1 second. I was like, flip through the book. And I was like, oh, darn. Okay. And she's like, you need to love yourself first. And I was like, okay. Okay. So a psychologist has a medical degree and can prescribe medication.
I actually know this is false because we learned about this in professional development. A psychologist has a PhD or a PsyD, and a psychiatrist has an MD.
Lots of school.
Yeah, lots of school, lots of schooling. Psychologists can do treatment plans, but they can't perform like they can't do medication. Like that's the only thing they can't do is medication. They can have private practice, they can do therapy, they can have treatment plans, whatever. They just cannot use medication.
Yep.
Okay.
The human brain weighs 3 pounds.
Yes. It does, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But like I've always kind of wondered about that. How do like
where's the weight distributed?
Yeah. How do they like do they take I guess it would be like a cadaver lab where they like take someone who's passed, take their brain and weigh it. But like would it not be like not alive, like not like an active brain?
Would your brain get heavier whenever you die?
Yeah. Does it get heavier? Does it get lighter? Like because does it lose fluid? Because when the brain's dehydrated, it gets lighter. Yeah,
and I feel like holding 3 pounds in my hand is like kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Like you can tell if I were to have nothing and like 3 pounds right here.
Right.
Like you can tell.
Well, and like everyone's different. Like what if my brain isn't 3 pounds and yours is like 16 pounds? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
like everyone's different. So like is that like kind of like an average or is that I don't know. Is that like if your brain's not 3 pounds or something wrong with your brain? Because I would freak out. Like
how do we know they're 3 pounds?
Yeah, exactly.
You mean how much more you want me to read off?
Do one more, and then I'll do some out of that for you.
Oh, here's a good one. In general, women prefer social contact over men.
In general, like women prefer being social over men?
Social contact.
Social contact?
I assume that's like whenever you're with your friends and stuff, like you're a little bit more touchy.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too, like touching and like hugging and stuff like that. Yes? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I don't... Why?
Me, personally, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not very touchy when it comes to my friends.
Yeah, that's why it says I think in general. It's not like it's like a generalized thing. It's not for everyone.
No, but women typically are more touchy. Like in my personal experience.
You typically see like when you see a group of male friends walking down the road, they're all kind of just like walking in a line together and like chatting back and forth. But girls, they'll like kind of be holding hands or they'll link arms or like.
And that's cute.
It's really cute actually. Yeah, it's like girlhood. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. I actually really like this topic because I talked to Dr. I think it was Daniels about this one. Oh, I'm gonna mess up this reading this. Phrenology is now considered a valid science. Phrenology is the theory that personality traits are influenced by the shape of your skull.
I'm gonna say true.
Okay, so
maybe not personality shapes.
Wait, why is that true?
It's true?
Wait, no, because that's false. Because I know in class, okay, I really did not read this Quizlet, right? I was just like, great, this works. So it might be true, and I'm just not remembering correctly, but in Dr. Daniels's, is it Dr. Daniels's class or Dr. Sonia's class? It was cognitive psych we talked about.
Probably Sonia.
Yeah, we talked about how, like those ads where people were like, this is what a good mother would be. And this is what a bad mother would look like.
Oh, no. I feel like that was Daniels or Miller.
It could be any of them.
I don't remember.
But I remember we looked at an ad in class and like an old like 1860s, 18.
It was Dr. Sonia, I think.
It was Dr. Sonia?
I think so,
yeah. Because it was like, this is what, it had like the different head shapes. And it was like, this is what a gentleman looks like. And he's like, got a very thin head and like very like sliced jaw structure. And, like, is very, like, well kept up and yada yada, whatever. And this is a gentleman. And then the other one is, like, a round-headed man. And it's like, this is a bull-headed man. And he's like, women, stay away from this man. And then, like, the mother, it was, like, a side profile. And the mother, it was, like, very, like, cutesy nose and small lips and little, like, chin. It was, like, this is a good mother. And then, like, disproportionate, like, very unhuman disproportionate, might I add. They, like, really dramatized it. It was like, this is a bad mother. Bad moms have big noses and big chins and like large foreheads. Like this is a bad mother. Like not even just taking into consideration their personality, just based on how they look.
Yeah. I think that's why I said true because I was remembering that ad.
Yes, I was remembering that ad. Yeah. And because it's not a valid science because
I don't think that's true.
Yeah. It's like because like you can't tell by like the shape of your face and like the bumps on your head like if you're a psychopath or not. Like
yeah.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't think you can.
There was something about bumps on your head that I heard the other day. I don't remember though.
It's like in dogs. there's like a bump right here, and it's like the wisdom bump.
Really?
Yes, there's a dog here on campus. It's Stella. It's one of my friends, Allison's dogs. And Stella has like this like very prominent bump, and it's supposed to be a wisdom bump in dogs, and it's supposed to mean that the dog is super smart.
Yeah, and I think it was Dr. Sonia also told us that cats have like smooth brains mostly.
Yes, cats have smooth brains.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me because my cat is so smart.
I know.
He's always in the fridge.
Yeah.
He opens the fridge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
See, I would just get like one of those child locks.
I put the chair in front of it. He knows how to open child locks. That's why I'm like, how smooth is his brain?
Yeah, how smooth is this? I think there's a few bumps in there.
Yeah, there's got to be some bumps.
Okay, let me see.
Oh, and something else, like with the brain shape.
Uh-huh.
I've always like seen it on TikTok, but so I'm not sure how valid it is.
Right.
It's like you can tell how often your parents made you, like, held you, like, by the back of your head.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, like, if it's flatter?
Yeah, if it's flatter, then you were always in your crib.
Is my head
I don't know how valid that is.
I don't know.
No, it's not.
Oh,
I feel
darn.
like mine's pretty flat back there.
Well, because, like, I don't know.
I don't know if that's
I
true.
don't know if
I
that's
saw it on
true.
TikTok, so.
If I found anything on TikTok, I usually go to Florky. I'm like, is this real? And she's like, I don't know. And we just look it up together. But, that's
Definitely have to
interesting.
Google that.
Yeah, but I feel like if you, like, even if you hold the baby, even if you lay it on its back in the crib, it's still getting that, like, flat surface.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that could also be, like, you might not be holding it as much, it's just laying in the crib. So
Yeah, the flatter the head, the more Layden's cribbed. And my
Yeah.
head's really flat back there.
Okay, let me see. Ooh. Okay, let's do something. Okay. There are 18 different specialties in the field of psychology.
Okay.
True or false?
True.
There are. Can you name the 18?
Okay. There is forensic.
Yes.
There is cognitive.
Yes.
There's social.
Yes.
There's abnormal.
Yes.
There's pet. Right?
No.
No. Okay.
And this is
developmental.
Yes. This is
Developmental.
recognized by I looked at it on a few college websites as well, like where they were
Okay.
talking about this. So it's a few like universities.
Mm-hmm.
And not like an online one of them was the University of like it was a Maryland college. So
Mhm.
it's real. Okay.
That's a lot. Okay.
I
so
know.
I'm trying to like think of the classes I've taken. Okay, so we said cognitive, we said abnormal, we said social, developmental.
And did you say cog?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
oh my, I can only name 5.
Okay. So we'll go down the line of
Oh, forensics.
Yeah, you said forensics too.
Mhm.
Okay. So we got abnormal.
Occupational is that one? Sorry.
Industrial organizational.
Okay.
That's technically occupational.
Okay.
So there's abnormal, which is the study of
disorders.
So like
Mhm.
you think like schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, ADHD, ADD, autism. correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All from the DSM.
Although, here, let me jump up a little bit because there's one called school psychology. Would that be ADHD, like in the terms of it affecting education?
Would that just be like a school counselor?
Well, school psychologists and school counselors I thought were different because counselors like guidance counselors.
Yeah.
And
Maybe a
psychologists,
school therapist?
maybe like a therapist or like what my mom does, like a diagnostician,
Mhm.
kind of like diagnosing those learning disabilities.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay.
Because of learning disabilities.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
But they're still abnormal, right? Because they are
Mm-hmm.
treated by medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
I don't think that learning disabilities are treated by medicine.
they can be managed with medicine. I think like ADHD and ADD, there's medications. Yeah.
Like
Wow, I have not taken abnormal.
dyscalculia and stuff, I don't think you can medicate that. I think you can like extra resources, like accommodations.
Right. I don't know. We'll get on that later. If we look it up later, we'll figure it out. So there's abnormal behavioral psychology, so just studying behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Biopsychology, so that would be more your path to like neuroscience
Mm-hmm.
and just like studying the brain and how
No
it
thanks.
reacts. Yeah. I really enjoyed. So I took biopsych over this last summer with Dr. Sonia, and I really enjoyed that class. It's like really weird. It's a really weird thing to say.
Mhm.
I really want like a like a container with like a human brain.
Oh.
Like it sounds yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just
it
kidding.
sounds crazy. It sounds insane. But I really That would just be so cool to have. And not like a lava
3
lamp.
pounds.
Yeah, like it's 3 pounds. Yeah. But not like a lava lamp, because I've seen some people who will like make like a fake one and make it into a lava lamp. Like, no, I'm not all about that. I want an actual human brain.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't blast that on the podcast now that I'm thinking about it, because that's a little crazy. But I just think it's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a plastic model where I can like take it apart and look at the inside. And,
yep, I feel like you can definitely get that on Amazon.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can't get a human brain on Amazon.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Black Web maybe.
Man, baby. There's also clinical psychology.
Okay.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah. There's cognitive.
Mm-hmm.
There's comparative. I don't know what that is
either.
I'm gonna be honest, and I feel I don't.
I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah, Google that one. There's comparative. I'll keep going down the line. Counseling psychology. So it's like a counselor, a therapist, stuff like that. Cross-cultural psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like
maybe the study of cultures?
Yeah, but that's is anthropology the study of cultures? So. Yeah, maybe cross-cultural is like helping somebody like.
I'll Google that one too.
Yeah, what is comparative?
Okay, comparative is scientific study of the human behavior and mental processes of non-human animals, especially as these relate to the history, adaptive significance, and development of behavior. So it's kind of like pet psych.
Oh, okay, so kind of like. Is
like
Dr.
monkeys.
Florky a comparative psychologist?
I thought it was a different name. I don't know. I haven't taken one of Dr. Florky's classes, surprisingly.
Oh, I took Psych 101 with her.
What was the other one?
Cross-cultural psychology.
Okay. Scientific study of human behavior and mental processes, including both the variable and invariants under diverse cultural conditions.
Okay.
Okay, so it's kind of like how you react in your culture.
Okay.
How your culture affects you.
Cool. That's
really cool.
We should have a class like that. What if we have a
Yeah.
class like that and we're just like, oh my god, we should have a class like this?
Never heard of that.
Our professors are like, seriously. It's in your degree plan. We've gone over this. There's also developmental. There's educational. So I guess that kind of goes in.
Dr. Yance, I think.
Yes, Dr. Yance does educational psychology courses. There's experimental, which I'm guessing is research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forensic is like law with
Very
psychology.
Interesting.
Very interesting. You're not in forensic psych?
I've never taken it, but I think it'd be really cool.
I'm in it right now. It is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing pretty good in it.
I definitely want to take it.
Yeah, no. It's really interesting with Dr. Miller.
He can make anything interesting.
Oh yeah. We talked about like lie detector tests and about like polygraphs and about how like they're not really as like.
Yeah, you can fake them.
You can fake them, but like people still use them sometimes, and it's like they're not really used. Like you can't really use them in court, but people are still like, "Hey, use this lie detector," and it's like it's not even usable in court because you could easily like fake it. You could easily like frame someone with one. So
I feel like I would definitely pass a lie detector test because I can't lie.
Yeah,
I am an awful liar.
I don't know. Like, there's some part of me that's like, oh yeah, if I studied how to like fake a lie detector test, I could totally do it. But then I know like that I'd be like, okay, I have to do this. I have to like overthink, and then it'd be like, and I'd be like, darn it, I tried so hard. There's also health psychology. So I'm guessing like more like life coaches.
Okay, yeah.
Like and like maybe like if you're like a personal trainer, also having like a psychological background, maybe. That's kind of how I'm interpreting it.
That makes sense, like a personal trainer having a psychological background.
Which is pretty important, I think.
Dietitians.
Yeah. Industrial organizational. I'm guessing that's occupational psychology. So like
I've never heard of that.
Neither have I. I don't think we even touched that in like Psych 101.
Good.
Personality psychology, talking about different personalities and I guess personalities. School psychology, social psychology, and my personal favorite, sports psychology.
Really? What's that?
That's the psychology of athletes.
Yeah. Really? That's a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing, and it's cool.
I've never heard of that.
It's like handling therapy and treatment and behavior of athletes. And so think like when an athlete has like a super traumatic injury or like a career-ending injury, they typically are sent by their team or by the doctor to a psychologist to go get therapy and get them help through the treatment process. Also think Have you ever seen the movie I, Tonya? With Tonya Harding, the figure skater?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she had to, like, what's it called? Go see, like, a psychologist about her behavior. And, like, to see if, like, they could pin that to anything. And also when she was removed from skating, like, when she was told she couldn't skate anymore, she had to see a psychologist to help her with that transition.
So that's your favorite?
Yes, that is my favorite.
I think my favorite is personality or behavioral.
Yeah. I'm really, like, right now, if you guys get to know me, I especially, like, before I did psychology, but now that I'm in psychology, my idea about what I want to be when I grow up changes every day sometimes.
Yeah.
My boyfriend definitely hears that all the time about, like, oh, you want to do this now? Okay, let me just cross off what you wanted to be yesterday or, like, an hour ago. But recently, I've really been clicking with clinical psych and doing that in terms of sports psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a school, I won't name names because I don't know if they might watch this if I submit it to a grad school application, but that has a really, really good research program and research lab in sports psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, like, desperately, like, crawling to get me in there. But, like,
are you taking a gap year?
No, I'm actually hoping to not take a gap year and just straight apply and go to grad school, which will be fun.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea what I want to do.
That's fine. That's so fine. That is so normal too, by the way. That is I saw a video on I don't have TikTok, I have Instagram Reels.
I'm always on Instagram Reels too.
Right?
And
or
I
like
have
on like Facebook Watch.
Yeah, YouTube Reels too.
YouTube Reels. I watch my Dress to Impress videos on YouTube Reels. But I watched a Instagram Reel where they were interviewing their classmates in med school about how long they took a gap year. And there was one that it was like 20 years, 8 years. But then there were so many like 3, 2, and 1 year gaps. And it was really cool. And I looked at the comment section. People were like, we need to like normalize gap years. Like some people need to take that gap year to work, save up money for it, figure out what they want to do, shadow, get research opportunities, get shadowing opportunities to make that requirement for their graduate school. And like it's definitely not, I think we talked about it in professional development. It's definitely not for me because I will not know what to do with myself if I'm not in a school environment or like a learning environment. As long as I'm constantly learning, which is great about getting a doctorate degree, you always have to get education. So I'm always going to be learning throughout my whole life, like, and required learning. But I had a point. I think I made it and I just like walked off the end. But yeah, do you like have an idea of kind of what you want to do maybe?
Forensic psych.
Yeah.
I think that would be very interesting, but also just like a therapist.
Yeah.
And I agree. If I were to take a gap year, which I think I'm going to, just because I don't want to put my life on hold just yet.
Right.
And I don't want to commit to anything if I don't know what I want to do.
Right.
So I'm just waiting it out, and I still have another year.
Yeah. And so much can change in a year. The junior year at college is definitely a crazy one and one that has a lot of change in it. I mean, I would hate if I was like, oh, maybe I want to be a pre-law student, and I'm like, oh, I got to take all these law classes now to graduate. But like a lot of people change, a lot of people find new paths and careers and passions. It's normal. But yeah. I think definitely knowing what you want to do is a big thing. Yeah,
and I think that the part of psych I find most interesting is social psychology and how we act in groups and us individually. I think those are the most interesting. I don't know if I want to like diagnose people, maybe just like study them. Yeah. I like people watching. Yeah. That's like a really weird segue, but like I love people watching. Me too, and a financially, good like get money. What is it? Financially rewarding way. Yeah. I want to watch people in a financially rewarding way. Yeah. That's a good way to say I want to just, like, stalk people for a job. Yeah. I want to watch them and then tell them why they're wrong. Yeah, why they're wrong, why they're acting that way. Yeah. No, help them. I like people watching. It's kind of fun. It can be kind of uncomfortable, though, when you, like, look over and then there's, like, a really awkward moment. I'm like... Yeah, they look back at you. And it's like, that's the worst part. It's like, oh, no, I don't. When I've been staring at them for so long and they look right at me, I'm like, ooh. I hate when I'm people watching and then I see a mom spank a kid. It makes my heart hurt so bad. I'm like, I just like, why would they little do that? Kids on leashes. Yeah. Okay, it's funny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious to see them on leashes, but it makes me like kind of uncomfortable. But I'm also not a mom. And so I know if I have like some like wild, like off the
off the leash kids, I'm gonna need to leash them.
I'm terrified that I'm gonna have like wild children because my cat, who is my child, he is very wild.
Yes.
So I'm just terrified, and I don't want to have to put them on leashes, but you got to do what you got to do.
But like, it's kind of. I saw this video where a mom was like, "I don't like putting my kids on leash, but," and then she put them on leash, and they had little backpacks, and so they carried her stuff for her. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But don't use your kids as purses, by the way. That's not what we're promoting at all.
I feel like whenever I was younger, I was just terrified of everyone, and that's what I want my kids to be like that because I was scared to talk to anybody. I was very shy, and I just stayed underneath my mom. So like I was no trouble.
Yeah.
From what I can remember, I'm sure I was bad in other ways.
From what I can remember, I'm pretty sure I was pretty outgoing and running around, and I think I gave my parents a little bit of hell.
Once I got to know you, I was definitely like, my mom was like, Corey, like, that's a little bit too much now. Like, it was definitely like, once I got to know people, you kind of just had to cut me off. Because I would just talk. And I'm still that way.
Yeah, no, I'll talk. I can talk an ear off.
Exactly.
I think Dr. Sonia or anyone, whenever I'm like asking questions or something, they'll like even pick up their stuff and walk out of their office to like, time to go.
And I always like will answer my question within my question because I just keep on going.
I've done that before, and I'm like, wait, so then why'd I come talk to you? And then I've just like left an office, just been like, bye. Okay. Well, okay. Let me get to another question. Okay. Ooh, here's some biopsych for you.
Okay.
Neurons are connected.
True.
False. They have synapses.
Oh, okay.
Remember, there's like that little like. Actually, I can actually kind of show it with my hands. There's like the area, and then they like go.
They got a little.
Yeah, and then the neuron. Yes, I know neuron.
So basically,
anatomy.
They're connected.
They're basically connected. Electrically, they're connected, and chemically they are, but
maybe not physically.
Maybe not physically though. They have a synapses. Okay, humans have the largest brain of any mammal.
False.
Yes. What do you think has the largest?
I feel like it's gonna be something I would never guess.
Do you want to take like a wild guess?
A gorilla.
A gorilla?
Is that even a mammal?
Yes, gorillas are mammals.
Okay.
No, it's a whale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
I
was gonna guess a whale, but I was like, watch them have brains like that big.
It's
like
giant
tiny.
whale this big. No, I don't know how big their brains are.
Whales are my biggest fear.
Really?
It's cool because we're learning about fears right now.
Yeah.
And most fears are like adaptive and like like evolutionary. And I'm just like, which one of my ancestors was like afraid of whales and then just pass it down to me?
Yeah. We went to Hawaii a few years ago and did a boat, I think we went it was a scuba diving like boat like sightseeing trip, and there was we didn't even like plan it, but there were like obviously you can't plan a whale sighting, but there were whales, and I remember thinking, and my little cousin was there, and I remember she looked up at me and she was like, "What if the whale hits our boat?" And I went,
"Oh."
Okay, so keep that thought inside, please.
Don't say that again.
Don't ever say that again. But it was really cool to see like the whale come up. But you see those like really scary videos online about like the whale coming up and then splitting the boat in half, and then the boat catches on fire and explodes, and everyone's like, ah.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm basing my. I've never been around a whale, so I don't know why I'm so scared of them.
They're really cool though.
They're very cool. I don't know why I'm
and
so scared
pretty.
of them.
Yeah. Okay. Most brain injuries leave a permanent scar.
False.
True. They leave psychological scars that stick with you for a very, very long time. Even wow. What's the word I'm looking for now? I don't know. They will stay with you for a long time. That's what I'm trying to say. They can be physical. Obviously, if you have a concussion and you bruise your noggin, you're gonna bruise something in your brain. You could have a brain bleed. You could have a stroke. But you could also have like psychological scars where it's like trauma and like having to recognize trauma and stuff like that. Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get why that's
Some
true.
brain injuries aren't able to, like, Phineas Gage, brain injury. Can't come back from that one.
Yeah, HM.
Yeah. And
but that was like surgery.
Yeah, those were like freak accidents as well. Like, no, I don't expect everyone to like go out and be like, yeah, I'm totally gonna expect to have a rod shot up through my occipital lobe
Yeah, the way Dr. Sonia, like, explained how they were, like, making the railroad, I was like, why would they ever think that was a good idea?
Right. That too. Why would you think that's a good idea?
You're working with gunpowder.
Yes.
And you put a steel rod in there.
Mm-hmm. And you're just like, yeah, I'm going to go, boom. Hope it doesn't hit me. Yeah,
goes right through you.
Yeah, goes right through you. But yeah,
you're
that's
never
like,
the same.
That's like a traumatic brain injury that you never recover from. That's also why it says most. Like, some you can recover from, obviously. It's hard to be, like, generalized, like, oh, yeah, that's going to happen. So
that's why I'm so scared of, like, sports. Because I feel like it's so normalized to get concussions.
Yes.
It is so normalized.
It's, like, it's very normal for people to, like, leave a game and be like, oh, I think I hit my head too hard. And then it's like, you had a concussion. You're out for, like, a week of practice or, like, 2 weeks of practice.
If I get a headache, I'm down.
I don't know if I've ever had a concussion. I probably might have, but because I mean they're pretty common in sports. And I played soccer, so I'd head the ball, and it's like, oh, my head kind of hurts. Go play.
I've never played any sports. Well, I did when I was younger.
Right.
But like none when I was growing up.
What's it called? Well, and like in football, like you get so many concussions, so many brain injuries. And what is it like? Is it like, if you have like more than 3, then it's like starting to like, they start monitoring it or something? Or like they like ask you like how many you had in the last year, if it's more than
too many.
More than too many, yeah.
It's way too many for you to be like, okay, now we're going to start monitoring.
And like, I feel like 1 is too many, but also like accidents happen in sports. It is what it is. Like your brain, the human brain and the human body is pretty resilient. Like it can handle some stress, like obviously, but I don't know.
I feel like once you get a concussion, you're more likely to get another one.
Yeah. It's also like, it's just like as you get older, the sport gets more aggressive.
Yeah.
You're more susceptible to it because of the aggression of the sport. Okay, let's see if you can get this. We learned about this in cognitive psych. Okay. So you should get this right and be able to tell me something else about it.
Okay.
No pressure. Left brain people are more artistic and creative.
It's not true.
It's not true. Why is it not true?
Because they are designated for different things. I don't remember if it's language. One of them is for language. And oh my God, what's the other one? No.
Is it? I want to say it's like, is it critical thinking?
I'm going to Google it. Because
So what we're talking about is right and left brain. In our class, we found out that right and left brain is not really real. You aren't more left brain than the other. Spatial awareness. Yeah. You're not more left-brained or right-brained than like the other. You use both hemispheres of your brain equally? Is that right?
Yeah.
Equally. You don't use more of one than the other. You can just be a more logical person or a more creative person. Like
that's personality. That has nothing to do with your brain.
That's personality. That has nothing to do with the hemispheres in your brain.
In one of my art classes, someone actually did the art piece, and it was like left side of your brain, right side of your brain. And I was like, how do I tell this person that's not correct?
All the way, like they're almost done with their art piece. No,
it was like a critique. And I was like, that is the coolest piece I've ever seen, but how do I tell them that's not correct?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Good. They would be like, oh, my piece, it's awful. It's incorrect. What am I going to do? I did actually look up like when it was discredited. When do you think it was discredited?
Probably far too recent.
Yeah, 2013. Yeah.
I was going to say like 2000.
Yeah, 2013. I was like,
gosh.
What? Let me pull this back up. It accidentally logged me out.
And I've always heard that, like, oh, you're more right brain.
There's the Bo Burnham song, Left Brain, Right Brain, where there's like he splits his brain so they can like figure out what's wrong with him. And
everybody says that.
Yeah. And like I've always gotten the thing where it's like, oh, Hannah, like your right brain's showing. It's like, oh, yeah, that's not true.
Yeah, we also learned like if your brain is split, you're gonna have some problems.
Yes,
like you can function normally, but like
there's a Grey's Anatomy episode about splitting a brain.
Really?
Yes, there was a.
Is it lore accurate?
It actually is. No, it is. It is. Because I watched it and I told Dr. Sonia about it. So it's Derek. Wait. Okay, it's not a spoiler. Derek's. Everyone knows Derek's a neurosurgeon. Okay.
I've never seen it, but I know who that is.
Okay, so Derek is. I love Grey's Anatomy. I recently found it like a month ago and I'm already at season. Oh gosh, I'm already at season 8. But I'm hooked. But Derek is doing surgery on a 2-year-old because she has localized seizures. in her legs. And so it's showing that parts of her brain are actually like decaying. I think it's like right here of her right hemisphere. Wait, yeah, it's the person's right, not the doctor's right. Yeah, okay, yeah. Like the kind of like the top area of her right hemisphere is dead. Like the brain, it's just dead. And so he has to split it. So like he has to split her brain in half so that the right hemisphere can completely die off and the left one can stay healthy.
Wow.
And like it was a really good episode because I remember Meredith was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And he's like, what is he going to say? It's like, it's a great day to save lives. And then like it cuts and he's like doing surgery. And then like, of course, something dramatic happens and someone's like, "We need 2 liters of yada yada stat." And it's like, "Yes, doctor," and whatever. Like the normal like Grey's Anatomy stuff. But there was that part of the episode that I was like, I feel like when we were sitting in class, she was like, "Oh, split brain." I was like, Grey's Anatomy, there's a reference here. But I brought that up and talked to Dr. Sonia about that. And yeah, that's like it's like a real procedure they do where they like split the brain in half to either save the brain or help with like seizure control. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, like I don't know, maybe like a decaying side of the brain would, I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah.
That happened. Sorry.
That made me think about lobotomies.
Yes.
I in my abnormal psych class. Have you taken abnormal psych with
No,
Miller?
I'm supposed to take it next year.
Really great class.
Okay.
Very cool. And also it like is right there with child psychopathology. They're like 2 and 2.
Okay, so I should take it at the same time?
I took child psychopathology and it's helping me with abnormal psych.
You took that in the spring?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's definitely like the 4 Ds of psychology: deviance, distressing, dysfunction, and danger.
Yeah.
We learned all about that. So I was like, I had those down.
Okay,
memorized
great.
immediately.
Okay. That's a good. Okay, thank you.
But like lobotomies are so crazy, and like the most famous one was the Kennedy.
Sister. Yes. Oh my gosh. What is her name?
Rosemary.
Rosemary.
Eunice was the sister that advocated for her.
Yes.
I think. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Because I know that the Kennedys, like that, their family were big supporters of
Mental health.
Special Olympics and mental health.
I
don't know. They did not.
Because of Eunice.
Yes. Because
nobody talks about her.
Yeah.
They all think it's because of John. It was because of Eunice. Rosemary Kennedy. Yeah, it was Rosemary that got the lobotomy.
Okay, yeah.
And she...
Wasn't it when she was like in her early 20s and... Oh my gosh, we could do an episode on this.
Yeah, she was like... She had like an intellectual disability, but just a minor one.
Yeah.
She couldn't take care of herself, but she could dress herself, she could talk, she could carry a conversation with you. When she got that lobotomy, she could not communicate anymore.
And do anything, right?
She could not do anything, and they had to take her to a specialized home for her.
Yeah.
And the only person that ever went to visit her was Eunice. John tried to go visit her during his presidency, but like reporters followed him and wouldn't allow him in.
Right.
Yeah, lobotomies are very crazy. Yeah. Have you seen The Boys?
Like the TV show about like the superheroes?
Yeah. So in the most recent season, there's a superhero. This is not lore accurate, okay? A superhero, and she her brain is rapidly growing. It grows all the time, and she has to get lobotomies once a day.
No way. That's like, you know, you see on those like videos on like TikTok or Instagram where it's like crazy character traits you can give your character, like in your recent book. It's like that's one of them. It's like, really?
Yeah, she's like, drill this ice pick in my eye, and so I could just be normal.
What's her name? Which character?
Sister something. Sister Sage. Yep.
Yeah, I've got some friends that watch The Boys, and it's been recommended.
It's definitely something.
I like I've started watching, like I watched Invincible a lot.
Yeah.
I
haven't seen the new season.
Yeah.
But I watched the new season of The Boys.
Yeah.
And I've also watched Gen V.
Okay.
Those are like linked.
Let's see. Okay, let's do this one. Cooing, crying, babbling, single words, and then telegraphic speech is the correct order of typical Lang acquisition. Language, sorry. True. Yeah. I think, okay, a little bit into like child development. It's like, we have an athletic trainer here on campus. Her name's Sarah. She's got a little boy. He's the sweetest little kid ever. It was raining at the soccer game, and he had a little yellow jacket on and matching like dark yellow pants.
That is so cute.
And in the middle of the game, he went, "Go Scots, go!" And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." And then he was like, "Mama," and I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." But like I've seen him over the past year, like kind of learning how to talk, and it's really, really cool. Like, and I like Sarah was making me laugh because she was like, "You're like looking at my kid like he's a psych study." I'm like, "But this is like so cool." Like he was just like going like blah 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 at the very beginning, and now he's saying like
making words.
He's making words, and that's so cool.
Yeah,
to like see that, and like also he's like growing physically. He's like getting taller. He's getting bigger. He's learning to like pick up things and like can lift things that are heavier than him now, and like not heavier than him, but things that were heavier than last time. If he's picking up things that are heavier than him, that's a super baby.
Yeah.
But no, like language like acquisition and development is so cool. And like it's even cooler for like bilingual babies.
That is so cool to me that your child can speak 2 different languages. And they learn 2 different languages
at the same time
in it. And there's adults that can't do that.
Yeah.
That is so cool to me. Like the way the brain works is so cool. Like the way it develops is so interesting. That like your brain can, like you were once just like babbling and now you're making full-on sentences.
Right. Like
crazy sentences.
Like 18 years ago, I was like drooling on stuff and like slamming my hands on tables and like basically screeching words at my parents, like words that I thought were words, but they're like, what is this kid saying? And now I'm over here like, the blah 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 is blah 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 blah, and like making full on words and speeches and stuff like that. It's so cool. And it's more cool to see it, right? Like you can read about it all you want. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool, but it's so much cooler to see it. And like that's what kind of gets me excited about like kids. Like, I mean, of course, like, yeah, kids, family, like, it's awesome. Like, having your own
motherhood.
Whatever. But, like, I'm going to get to, like, see them, like, grow.
Study them.
Yeah. Free study. No, I will not do, a psych study on my kids.
Not a little Albert study.
Yeah, no. Wow, that is a wild study. I just, like, not flashbacks, but just, like, a bunch of information just went, and I was like, whoo. But no, like, I'm going to get to, like, see them, like, develop language. And, like, they're going to, like, learn my language. They're going to, like, take after me. And I talk with my hands a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, what if they, like, whenever they're, like, angry, they're like, what the heck? Like, something like that. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, they're going to pick up my, like, mannerisms.
And there's nothing more funny than a little kid cursing.
Oh, my gosh. It is so funny.
And, like, the parents will, like, they still, like, because you can't get onto them. I mean, you can get onto them, but if you, like, laugh or people around you laugh, they're gonna think, oh, I can keep on doing this.
Yeah,
this is funny.
Yeah. So you have to be like, that's not a nice word.
Yes, you kind of just like ignore it just a little bit. But how do you ignore that? That's funny.
It's so funny. I love watching those videos because it's just like, oh, what was the one? There was like it was like a kid, like it was like a 1-year-old and was like babbling with its mom, and it said a damn, and the mom went, no, like put its hand down, like its hand, here, put your hand out. It was like, no. And I just started laughing because I was like, that's a 1-year-old. And like that means the mom has to say that a lot for that kid to pick that one up. I'm just fearful that my kid's first word will be a curse word.
Yeah, that's why like, I'm scared to curse around my future children.
Right.
Because they listen to everything. My niece, they live far off now, but whenever she was younger and they'd come and visit, she was like a little parrot.
Yes.
Mocking everything.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though, because like, a kid that was once just babbling is now saying word for word what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. And it's, like, repeating. Kids, like, and they could totally be, like, the biggest snitches on planet Earth.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Maybe that's, like a pro and con of, like, language development. It's like, wow, it's so cool to see it. But, like, oh, darn, they're going to totally rat me out.
Yeah. I feel like I was always telling my mom when I was younger.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I became conscious in this moment.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I vividly remember this.
Yeah.
My mom had made me very upset, and my aunt had come over. And she was just talking to my aunt, like, bad about my aunt.
Yeah.
Like, just saying, like, you know, nothing terrible.
Right.
But, like, just a little thing. My mom made me mad. And I was like, oh, by the way, this is what my mom said. I was a child. I was a child.
By the way, this is what your sister said about you.
Yeah, and she was like, she comes up with the darndest things. I don't know where she gets this from.
Kids say the darndest thing. That's a very common quote I hear. Let me see if I can find another one because we have a few more minutes. But oh, I love this question. Okay. Adolescence is a culturally defined social status.
True.
Yes. because you like puberty. Like the question before it is puberty is a biological event. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But puberty and adolescence are completely different.
Yep.
So like here, we think your sweet 16 is kind of like a step into womanhood, I would say. But then you also have like 15s where the 15-year-olds are stepping into womanhood. So it's different per culture about what is defined as growing up, if that makes sense. I don't know a lot about it, so I might not talk about it. But a bat mitzvah?
That's 12-year-old boy.
12-year-old boy?
Jewish religion?
Yes.
Jewish 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah.
Bar mitzvah
12-year-old boy?
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What age?
13.
13 for girls. I got 12, 13, skip 14, 15, and 16. Like, it's like different culturally about what we say is like adulthood and what is like mature and what is like yada yada. And like, of course, the law says something different. It's 18. Yeah. And like, even the law even says 21 might even be adult because that's when you can like drink and buy all these things that you can't buy at 18.
Mm-hmm. You can vote though.
But you can vote though. You can vote on those things, but you can't buy them. But no, yeah, that's really interesting because that's where psychology and behavior and anthropology and that's where that cross-cultural psychology comes in, where it's like, what age do we consider like adolescence? Like, is there a biological way we can say is adolescence? Not really. You can't. Because also, like, people say 25 is when your brain is like, is it the frontal lobe or the brain?
Brain, I think.
The brain is fully developed.
Frontal lobe. Frontal lobe is fully developed. Frontal lobe.
So is that like mature? Is that when we should send people to college?
Yeah, I've been seeing videos and it's like whenever your frontal lobe fully develops and you realize this isn't this.
Yeah. So it's like it's different culturally because we don't really have a biological answer. So
yeah, and I think it's crazy that speaking as the oldest girl, my mom's oldest girl. Oh my gosh, I'm an oldest girl. Well, we can both speak on it. Okay. It's different. The culture for an older girl, like, it's probably different for everybody.
Right.
Because I had a younger brother. So I was very...
So did I! Oh my gosh!
I was very, like, maternal towards him. And I feel like he will always be my first child.
I was not.
We grew up during quarantine together. And
right.
my parents had gotten divorced during that time. So it was just us.
Yeah.
So and my mom, had to start working more because my dad, they divorced. And so I feel like he would always be my first child. Right. And I feel like that's a lot of the case for like a lot of the oldest daughters.
Right.
Is that you're raising the younger siblings.
Right. And so it's like that, like maturing. So maybe rather than like a cultural thing or like a landmark decision, it's probably should be more of like a situational basis, like of what is in your environment.
And I think it would be cool to study like the psychology behind like the sibling lineup.
Yes.
Like the youngest, the middle, and the oldest.
And
like,
also by
so
gender
different.
as well. Yeah, like what is their gender identification and how does that play into affect their relationship in that dynamic? Yeah.
Yeah, I look at my brother now. He's 17. And I was a completely different person than he was. Yeah. I was very mature. I mean, not that he's not mature. He has a job. Right. But he is different than I was. I was just very mature. I was very worried about my studying and stuff like that. I was just like, I have to do this, this, and this. And I was cooking dinner and stuff like that. I was very mature. Yeah. And I feel like it's just different for boys. Yeah, boys and younger boys, I think so. Because my brother, he is a very talented soccer player. Shout out to my brother, Seth. You're very talented and I love you. He is very focused on, not school. That's the opposite of what I'm trying to say. Soccer and... he's shown a little bit of interest in like law and stuff. So he's like gotten this like new interest of school and studies in law and criminal justice and like the military. But like he's always been like when people would ask like, oh, like, or like people would like recognize like, oh, your kid's like, oh, Hannah is like the ones that got these super stellar grades and like super smart, has it all together. And he's that really good goalkeeper that you got in that family. And it's like, You can definitely see that distinction when people like look into the families. Now, obviously, close families and friends are like, wow, Seth has a real affinity for, oh gosh, I want to say math, but it's probably history. It's history. He loves history. So he's really good at that. And Hannah's really good at sciences. And so like, obviously, like my brother and I aren't just defined by like this. And like, I can throw up some weight in the weight room. So I'm a pretty good little athlete myself. But like, yeah, it's like, it's very interesting to see the outside perspective generalization of sibling dynamics and also in terms of their
gender, but also like how their parents are. Because my parents are both younger siblings. And
my
so
mom is an only sibling. My dad's an older one.
So.
Yeah,
my dad is a younger brother, and my mother is the youngest of 3. An eldest brother, middle sister. So, yeah.
Yeah. And like my little brother, he is going to trade school, and he's going to be in E&I.
Oh.
And he like works for this man that owns a pharmacy, and he's working with his hands every single day.
Yeah.
That's not my thing at all.
No.
I've always been told you either got to be not lazy or you got to be smart.
Yeah.
And I chose the smart one.
Yeah.
I'd rather be lazy.
That's pretty, that's actually fair, because my brother is a very, very, very hard worker. I mean, doesn't discredit like my hard work. I'm a very hard worker, but he's definitely a harder worker than I am. But at the same time, I feel like he's smart in his own way, and I'm smart in my own way. So
yeah.
It's kind of like a weird balance. It's kind of like the right brain, left brain thing, where everyone's kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah. If something were wrong with my car, I could just call my little brother. And he could tell me, he's 17, but he could tell me exactly.
I could call my brother and be like, hey, like, what's up with like this thing in a car? Like, oh, what's this like? I really like this shoe. Can you tell me what the shoe brand is?
Yes.
Yeah, he could tell me that. Or, hey, I want to know something about World War II. Here's the entire history of World War II for you, Hannah.
He couldn't tell me that, but I'd be like, hey, I need to invest in something. He's like, okay, here's this, and this.
My brother got into investment and like, oh, what was it? Oh, he wanted to do like something where he like sells stuff on Amazon and like does like all the like economics behind it. He got really into that with his friend John. That was
I feel like it'd be amazing to be a younger brother.
Yeah.
Because there's just not a lot of pressure.
I know. You're just like funny and like you got to be like the comic relief.
Yeah, there was 100% the pressure on me to be the first generation. And I'm a first generation college student.
Wow.
I don't think my dad even went to college, but my mom went to college for a semester.
Yeah.
Just wasn't for her. And college is not for everybody, so I'm not discrediting
yeah, no,
she
no,
did.
no.
Yeah. But the pressure was for me to be a first generation. Like, it was always understood that Cari's going to college, Cari's going to grad school.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on that. And for my little brother, it was never like, they were always like, he's probably just going to stay in CrossFit. Yeah. And he's going to do something good with his life, obviously.
Right,
But he's not going to go too far from home.
Right.
And they're like, once Cari graduates, she's moving off.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's always like been understood. Like about the older daughter.
Like kind of about the like the expectation for you. Cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe not cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it can be cool and not cool.
Yeah. It just depends on the way you look at it. Which is also a lot about psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're actually coming to the end of our time now. You have any final thoughts about today?
I don't think I have any final thoughts about today. I think this is a pretty good little episode.
First start.
We talked about a lot of stuff.
I know we did. We covered like every like square inch of our degree, basically. So this podcast, we're hoping to post once every 2 weeks. So twice a month. Different topics. We'll have guests. We'll have professors, other students, maybe even some pets. I don't know.
Our cats.
Our cats. Yeah. A little PSA before we leave. If you are struggling with any mental health, especially here at Lyon College, we have a therapist an art therapist on campus.
Very cool, by the way.
Victoria, she's great. 50-minute sessions. She's very sweet. She was a Lyon grad, so she can understand some of your issues. If not that, reach out to a trusted adult. Reach out to a coach, a friend, a psychology professor, even if you feel more comfortable with that. And yeah, no, there's always help out there. So.
Yeah, there's also cognitive restructuring.
Yes, cognitive
and that you can do that yourself.
Yeah. And journaling, that's great.
Yep.
I like that.
Art. Gardening, cooking, a pet.
If you want to make that financial commitment, yeah. But yeah, no, there's always help out there. And yeah, so we'll see y'all next time in about like 2 weeks, I think. I don't know. Okay, bye.
Bye.